Ready? Pauline and Yuri. The monotonous sound of the steel train wheels lulled me to sleep as I sat back in my seat. Wheat fields waved to me as we sped through this forgotten countryside at 60 miles per hour. When we finally arrived in Arnstadt, the train stood standing for 5 minutes in the station before the doors were opened to let us out. Once on the platform, there were 5 obese women in long black fur coats carrying brown leather suitcases. A black Doberman Pinscher jumped over one of the suitcases that one of the women was carrying. I was hungry, so I decided to hail a carriage outside. The carriage driver's hat was gray and torn and his nose was red. As he yelled at the horses to go, a group of schoolgirls ran in front of the carriage. I thought of Pauline's restaurant 5 blocks away and told the driver to go. People were out on the sidewalk smoking pipes and cigars. A street cleaner pushed a large broom in front of our carriage wheels. There was laundry hanging from the windows of the buildings on the right and left of us. When the driver pulled up in front of Pauline's restaurant, I thanked him and gave him 5 groschen for his troubles. I set my suitcases down in the foyer of the restaurant. The lights were dim, and there were only 2 diners sitting by the window. When Pauline came out of the kitchen and saw me standing there, soaking wet from the rain, she smiled and said, "Oh, Ivan, it's wonderful you've come. Let's get that wet coat off of you. Come sit by the fireplace." There was a huge flaming fireplace in the corner of the dining room, where a black German shepherd slept on a brown rug. "Are you hungry, Ivan?" asked Pauline as she stared into my eyes. "Yes, very," I said. "Okay, I'll bring you some soup. Just sit right there and warm up." Pauline's blue and red dress trailed behind her on the wooden floorboards as she walked into the kitchen. I was trying to remember what this restaurant had looked like the last time I had been here. There was something very different about the expression on Pauline's face. She did not seem to be as happy as she had once been. Was she still with her husband Yuri, I thought? The heat from the fireplace felt nice on my wet feet, and the German shepherd lying beside me gave off a warmth of his own. Pauline came out of the kitchen holding a brown tray with a large bowl of potato leek soup on it. "After such a difficult journey, you will need your nourishment," said Pauline, as she gently set the potato leek soup down on a round oak table next to my chair. "I haven't seen you in such a long time, Ivan. What have you been up to?" "You know, the usual. Making sure my workers on the farm get what they need and taking care of Sasha. She has the consumption and she needs constant care." "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear your Sasha is not well. Such a sweet girl who always played the piano so beautifully for us whenever she came over." The clock on the wall above the fireplace chimed 9, and the 2 diners by the window had finished their meals. They were having a heated discussion about the deplorable state of the government. "Tell me, Pauline, where's Yuri?" Pauline's eyes filled with tears. "He's left, and I have no clue where he is or if he's ever coming back. One day he went out to repair the tractor of a friend who lives down the road, and I haven't seen him since." Pauline wiped her tears with a blue and white handkerchief as she sat back in her chair staring at the ceiling. The German shepherd walked over to her and licked her hand on the arm of the chair. "Don't worry, Pauline. I can have one of my workers come by to help you out now and then with the cooking and cleaning. It's no use, Ivan. I miss Yuri and I don't know what will become of me without him. You need to go to church more often to pray for his return. The doors of Our Lady of Immaculate Conception are always open." The wind blew hard against the window by the fireplace, and the clock chimed 10. I remembered a time when Pauline would make mittens and sweaters for everyone in the winters. She would spend hours gathering the lamb's wool. Then she would dye it blue and green. She was happier back then, and she didn't have a worry in the world. "This potato leek soup is delicious. Can I have some more?" I said, holding the bowl in my right hand. Pauline smiled. Of course, Ivan. The two diners by the window continued to discuss the pathetic behavior of our government officials as they puffed on their cigars. The magistrates waste all the money on foolish things and refuse to help the common people, one of them said, as the rain blew open a window. As Pauline came out of the kitchen with another bowl of soup, the German shepherd started to bark uncontrollably. There, Greta, calm down. The lightning will not hurt you, said Pauline, when a man and woman and two children walked in the front door. The man was wearing a black fur hat and glasses. His brown beard went down to the center of his coat. His wife looked upset since she was soaking wet from walking in the rain. The little girl held her mother's hand and removed her pink wool hat. Her blonde hair was matted and looked stuck to her little head. Mama, I'm tired, she said as she looked up at the woman. There, my Raisa, we will see what they have for us. The boy fidgeted in the corner by the coat rack while his father looked closely at the menu. Good evening, folks. Please sit anywhere you like, said Pauline as she reached into her dress pocket and pulled out her handkerchief. We take great pride in serving the finest cuisine in the district, said Pauline as she wiped the tears from her red cheeks. I thought the father looked very familiar to me. I knew I had seen him somewhere before. Then I remembered. He was in the municipal building, standing behind the counter when I went to pay the taxes last month. His glasses were broken on the sides and were held together with brown string. After they hung up their coats, the family sat down at a table on the far side of the dining room. Pauline's waiter walked over to them and took their orders. Pauline walked over to me. As I was saying, Pauline, everything will turn out all right. Yuri was never very dependable, as you know, and he was never settled within himself. Perhaps it's for the best that he's left. Pauline took out her handkerchief. Ivan, what are you saying? My Yuri was all I had. It's true, I still have Greta, said Pauline as she looked kindly at the affable German shepherd sitting by the fireplace. I finished the rest of my soup and began to drift off to sleep in the comfortable chair by the fireplace. The thunder and lightning storm continued to light up the dining room now and then. The little girl and boy were running between the dinner tables singing songs. They pulled at each other's clothing and made strange faces at the waiter as he carried trays of food to the table. I never knew if it was wise to make this journey to Arnstadt. Traveling has its risks. I hadn't seen Pauline for several years, and I had no idea she had been living so long without Yuri. I always knew she was a very strong woman who could endure almost anything. But my workers will be needing me, and I will have to get back to the farm. I cannot stay in Arnstadt for a week. I worry about my Sasha as well. There's no telling what direction her illness may take. I pray for God to protect and watch over her. I thanked Pauline for the delicious soup and told her that I must leave in the morning to get back to my Sasha.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was really different from a lot of the other things that you've written.
Oh. Okay.
And I liked it, but I always like your work.